Guys, what's up? Well, I want to talk about my networking project a little bit and how it all came to be. I'd be lying if I said I envisioned all of it when I was 15, when I first started using a home computer and got on the internet, websites, and all this. But I do remember the first day I got a home computer at our house, and we went to the website and was like, this could be better. Now, I did use Google at a school that I went to school at, and that was okay. We didn't really use. I mean, it was a search engine. So I mean, you search things and you found links. That really all that mattered to us in school. We didn't really use it more than that. It was like, okay, where's this information? And it wasn't more than that. Today it's kind of more. It feels a little bit more than that, but maybe that's just me. Anyways, when I was growing up, it was actually early 2000s. I don't know if they do this anymore. What we had at our house, when I lived in my grandma's house, we had this DirecTV. Awesome, because satellite was better. But this was in the country. We didn't have cable, and we only used copper for the phones. We didn't have internet access. However, when I was a kid, these black receivers, which the equivalent to a cable would be a cable box, these satellite receivers, you could watch TV on them, but you could also go on the internet, and it was free. That was free. Which was a huge thing because in the 90s, everyone was using copper wiring most of the time, and you would charge more for what you, like, let's say you were here, like I'm in Texas, and I wanted to connect to somewhere in like New York or something like that. Well, that would be very expensive because you got long distance. Long distance back then was expensive. Calling, especially on network, on the internet and all that, that was expensive. So these boxes could go to internet for free through this cable box. And it was, no one was Barnes & Noble. That's it was just this cable box, and it goes to, I don't know if you could buy anything, I think you could, but you got this Barnes & Noble on this DirecTV satellite receiver you could connect through. And that was astounding to me. I mean, I didn't understand the internet at that time, I didn't know websites, but we had that option, and it would go through the satellite. And so I looked at that, and I liked that idea, because it was so simple. It was, but it could have been better. I know that going modern day, I know that some service providers for cable, they actually have ads on their guides. Sunlink I know is one. Time Warner might be one. I don't think so. Maybe it depends. But yeah, some of them do, but it's not. That's just an that's just an overlay of the content you're seeing. You're not. You still got the 1950 design with a modern touch to it, and I think we could do better than that, especially in 2015. So my idea, when I watch TV, I watch shows. I like to watch 90s shows. I watch shows I grew up with. Pokemon, Digimon, even Digimon Fusion, which is on right now. Comes on today. And I wanted a way that you could do that, but be part of a community. Like you could go to a website, or you could go to another part of the thing. And I wanted to incorporate this into a easy, creative way, medium that anyone could host a variety of content, whether it's music, video, maybe their own. I like anime, so their own anime stuff, own cartoons, stuff like that. But you don't have to pay money to do it. And I want to talk more about that. On TV, you got to go through the FCC regulations and all this, what you can and cannot, how long a commercial can be, how long, you know, all this crazy stuff. On the internet, you don't have that restriction. You can do anything. I can't believe that smart TVs aren't there yet, and TVs aren't dead yet. But with TVs as we're used to them. But with that said, we haven't. I know we can do it because I know I can do it. But it's going to take a lot more than me to figure that out. I got the whole base down. It works perfectly. Anyone can do it globally, everything. I'm sure that I've convinced a lot of people that you can be in denial, but you're pretty much convinced. So, that's how it was. So, I'm taking a lot of my ideas and stuff I grew up with to build this thing. Dial-up, what we had in copper wiring. Computers were too slow at the time. We did have networking. We could make websites on our own home computers, but we couldn't do it because it was expensive and broadband wasn't available until 2000 when we had fiber optics. We've had fiber optics since 2000. 2000 was really when we started to slow down, because fiber optics are actually in an abundance in the United States. But we have so much of it that it's not even being utilized. And it's the backbone of backbone of cable companies. And maybe DSL, this Uverse thing, which seems more like a hybrid of that, copper wiring, fiber optic kind of stuff, which is kind of strange. So if cable company could just switch over, because I know they could do it way better than anyone else, but you know, that's another story. But what I grew up with, and we had Google, we had PowerPoint, we had all that, but how could we combine all that to one thing? Now, why would you do that? Well, why would you put the file on a Dropbox? Which is another thing I want to talk about. Content creation, content creation. My idea, you put videos, music, and all that on your own computer. Unplug it, it's gone. Plug it back in, there, it's all back. The internet has, well, not the internet, website, Google, Microsoft, everyone like that have convinced us that internet holds all of our data. That is true some cases, but in others not. Websites, yes, your data is recorded, obviously. But when you use a different protocol on the internet, it is not safe. Do you think that people are saving those bits and pieces of the servers you go to on Minecraft, Halo, etc., etc.? They're not. Why? Why would they? But back to Dropbox. We have convinced ourselves that this is the future. However, there's a big problem with this. The 2000s, people growing up in 2000s seems to be trustworthy of these companies. You grew up in this thing where we had problems in the 90s, and we had faster computers, but the computers are being so stagnated, computers not being used to their full potential. Just because you get a little lag there and here and then, that's not the full advantage of your computer. It's just a small technical difficulty at best. It's very minor. I mean, you're not. I mean, you could make a supercomputer. What supercomputers couldn't do 10 years ago, do today. Well, actually, that's not true. It's more like 20 years ago, because even now we've stuck at this 2.2. Although gigahertz is a marketing gimmick. Do not trust gigahertz. We've been stuck on 2/3 gigahertz for the past 15 years, and we've gotten to 4.0, which I don't even think is correct. I mean, why would we? We're not even utilizing 3.0 efficiently. So, and we're still using old software we using back 15 years ago. I mean, it's crazy what we got now. And in 2000, it seemed like people in 2000 who grew up in this generation are accustomed to this. Do not trust these things. And I say that because like I said, we're not utilizing this. So companies are trying to get more money out of us to pay for that. But, doesn't work for 90s kids because we've been through that already. And they're just, But now we got broadband, we got fiber optics, everywhere. Pretty much, when you go to McDonald's, you're fiber optic. When you're at home and you're on cable, fiber optic. So you can handle it. Don't have Google tell you that you're not using fiber optic until they come to your house. Verizon even knows this. I mean, even on their website, they say cable say they had fiber optic for years, but it doesn't come direct to your house. That is true, and Verizon's telling the truth. Google is more of a kind of shady with it and says no one's having fiber optic, and this is what we get. Tell you the truth, guys. Google did not have fiber optic first. There was actually a company. One of the first ones is a company in Chattanooga. They actually get 1 gigabit per second speeds for cheaper than what you get in pretty much another country, because you're paying $60. I saw a billboard say $60 for a premium TV package with 1 gigabit per second internet, and so $60 or $70, whatever it was, it was pretty good for the money. So, now about these Dropbox, you gotta be crazy to convince me to buy 500 gigabyte storage space on Dropbox and say, hey, put all your information on this. Why? For one thing, we're not at 500 gigabytes for the average user. And two, why would I put all my information on my computer on Dropbox? I gotta go to terms of service, privacy policy. I gotta listen to these people tell me how they're gonna use their information, which you never pay attention to. They might be outsourcing to another country that do not follow U.S. regulations, and like Sweden, for example, Pirate Bay. U.S. had nothing to do with that. That was actually I believe it was Sweden was the main company that shut that down, but there were different companies that were urging them on to shut down Pirate Bay for that, and it affected all of us. That was not the United States. So when you get countries, when your data is on a server in those countries, well, guess what? These countries could actually seize the servers, take your data, and you never see it again. The world is a bad place. Now, I want to fix that, because I see that as a problem. Cloud servers are a problem. They are going to be a problem very soon, because everyone is going to try to put all their information on these sites. And that's a lot of trust for a company. You got to admit, Dropbox, Microsoft, Google, that's a lot of trust in companies. And they all got their own ways of doing things. Like I said, 2,000 people who's growing up with this. It's a gimmick. Well, it's not really a gimmick. It's more of a you're too trustworthy. You're too trusting of these companies. There's a lot of gimmicks in the. Now I'm not gonna say that's a gimmick. It could be one, I guess, but there's a lot of gimmicks in the computer field. Like, I work on computers and I program computers. So whatever I see wrong with something, I say, how can I make this better? And I put it in my own software and operating system and say, hey, okay, we could try that. So I really enjoy that. You can't really live with. Sometimes I do like the programming part better, but I can't live without both of them. So that was something. But yeah, I gotta be pretty crazy to buy a 1 terabyte storage for, what is it, $100, and you're still getting those bandwidth. Dropbox limits your bandwidth, and then they suspend your account. Third time, you're blocked. It happens to both home users and business users. You're not protected from that. On your home computer, you have more access to it. You would feel more personal with it, so you would understand how everything works. It's like if you had a router on your computer, you would be more inclined to see, okay, what's going on with the router portion of the computer that I could change. Home computers are much too powerful as they are, but we could utilize it and make it better, because it is pretty messed up in pretty much a lot of ways. I mean, we're coming at a standstill. We got these Chromebooks, these gimmicky Ultrabooks, which cost more than laptops, would have less features and power than a laptop. Guys, am I the only one who sees that? But surely I'm not. So I just want to talk to you today about that, and don't be so trusting of companies like that. So I want to build a computer that you can host this information on your own computer. We did have that ability in 1998, Windows 98, maybe Windows 95. We could make your own website, but it was just so slow. Computers couldn't do it. Pretty much the main thing you could do was a BBS system, but website, that would be a bulletin board system for people before 2005. But we still got those. But anyways, I looked at all that and I built something from it, and I like it. And you can be against me, you can be for me, but either way, if you're against me, you're just moving with the tide. You're not really changing anything, because you're gonna be forced to conform any way you look at it, unless you make your own thing. I mean, that's how it goes. I can't be any simpler than that. Yeah, that was all I wanted to talk about today. So I'll see you guys later. If you have any questions, comment, feedback, whatever, you can talk to me. I appreciate private messages. I appreciate all of it. I like talking to people. Well, not really, but I make an exception. So, see you guys later. And I'll see you some other day. I am busy working on my computer stuff. So, I feel like I gotta talk about something else. Oh, well, I gotta go. See you guys later.